On this week's podcast, we got to play the Xbox One X at a special pre-launch event, and we'll tell you all about it.
And I got to play the Xbox One X. This guy is so jealous.
I just said that.
Why, jealous.
I was right there with you.
See what I mean? So jealous. We'll also talk about the 3 big releases that came out this week and our impressions of them.
But we really just want to get to tell you about playing the Xbox One X.
He's so jealous.
Would you shut up? Cue the music. Greetings, fellow gamers, and welcome to the Silent Majority Gamers podcast. This is episode number 10. Can you believe 10 episodes?
We've done 10 of these?
We have, and boy, this one is going to be a doozy. My name is Limey Geek.
And I am Insomniac Matt.
And this week we had a really special treat. We got to attend a very exclusive pre-launch event for the Xbox One X.
Yep.
Of course, being such a big, popular YouTube channel, we reached out to Microsoft's PR department and secured press credentials for the event. No, none of that happened. I'm just kidding. We actually entered a photo contest on Facebook. Microsoft Canada held a contest to give away tickets to this event, and I entered and was lucky enough to be chosen as one of the winners.
Woohoo!
So we got to attend this event in downtown Toronto.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, I wasn't entirely sure what to make of it. As you said, it was rather exclusive. It was, 20 people?
They were giving away 20 tickets, yeah.
20 tickets per plus a guest or what have you. Yeah. So, I mean, in all honesty, I kind of expected 2 dudes in a very dark room with one Xbox going, you guys want to play for 10 minutes? And I was pleasantly surprised. So we got there, and you get into this room, and there is like this rest area filled with, of course, the choice of all gamers, Doritos and Mountain Dew for free. There you go. Help yourself. Sit down, relax, wait, and we'll be calling you. And basically, it was a really nice room. It had an oxygen bar, which yes, I wasn't going to try it, but I'm like, you know what? How many times am I going to get to sit and have an oxygen bar? FYI, for those who haven't tried an oxygen bar, you shove something in your nose and it smells like whatever the oxygen you turn on. So I sat there and smelled strawberries for 10 minutes. I don't get it. It's, you'll have lots more energy when you're done. And I figured I'm not the kind of guy who needs more energy.
No.
So it kind of fell flat for me on that one, but
yeah, it was kind of cool. It was like a lounge area. There was couches. They had it was Xbox branded.
Yeah,
and there were these nice Xbox canvas bags hanging on the wall, which I thought was a little strange choice for decoration. And we thought, well, maybe they're going to give these. Maybe we're going to walk away with one of these. At the end, Matt tried.
I did.
He did try to score one. We did not get to
failed.
come home with a canvas bag.
But they also had a couple of Xbox One X systems behind glass on display as well, which was kind of neat. So we went in there, and they had our gamer tags already, and asked us which game we wanted to try, and it was a toss up between Gears of War and Forza 7. So we figured, for the diversity purposes, I'll take Forza. You took
I picked Gears of War. Yep.
So we sat there and we waited for a little bit, had a Mountain Dew, had some Doritos, and went on in to another room where they hooked us up like we were in Star Trek.
Yeah, so they called this the Xbox Gaming Lab. And essentially they hooked us up to these medical monitoring devices, right? Which would monitor all your vitals as you're playing. The premise being that they wanted to scientifically prove how exciting it is to play the Xbox One X. And so we had basically these headbands on that monitored your brain waves, and then we had like a harness on that would monitor heart rate, and it monitored your temperature and some other things. And seemed like it was pretty legit technology, although I don't know how accurate it really was. I saw the trace for your brainwaves, and I would have expected it to be a lot flatter. So, I don't know how accurate they were, but they hooked us up with these things to monitor us, and then we each got ushered into our own individual cubicle, little room. And it was very dark, and there's a nice 4K TV sitting there with the game hooked up, and there was a camera too, recording you while you're playing, and they had a TV to the side where you could see
your own vitals,
your own vitals on the screen as you're playing. Of course, I couldn't. There were just lines, and they were flicking.
Didn't really mean much to us.
Didn't mean much to me,
right?
but it was kind of cool.
I think so, yeah. So I sat down and played Forza 7 on this gorgeous-looking TV. I mean, it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful, I have to admit. The one thing that I've seen, going around with people talking about the Xbox One X, people doing some previews and talking about the graphics, the frames per second that they can do and everything like that. No one's really spoken about the sound, and holy crap, that was some of the best sound I've ever heard. It was unbelievable. I raced... one of the tracks was dynamic weather, and there was a lightning storm, and wow, like that was a crazy sounding lightning storm. It was amazing. You could have sworn it was raining outside, and you were sitting in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. It was really cool. And not to take anything else away from anything else that the Xbox does, but that sound was unbelievable. Plenty of people talk about the graphics, but the sound is just top notch.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think they had the surround sound. It was the Dolby Atmos sound, and they had it calibrated for the small space, and they had it cranked up really loud.
Like ear-bleedingly loud.
And yeah, but it was fantastic. The best surround sound I've ever heard. So that was a big part of the experience. Mm-hmm. I found with Gears of War, there's just so much going. I mean, it's such an action-packed game. The level they gave me to play, as soon as I started the level, I was like, oh no, I hated this level when I played it before. It took took several tries to get through it. So it's a level where there's multiple waves of enemies coming at you, and you've got the juvies and the screaming that happens. Like it's just it was very loud, but you could pinpoint things really, really easily. Graphically the game looked fantastic. I mean, in all honesty, it's difficult to get the full effect of 4K because of the size of the TV that we're using and stuff. But it was a great setup. The game was so action-packed, and I was concentrating so much on playing, I almost forgot to take the time to really look at the visuals. But it was silky smooth. That's one thing I did notice, right? Like even at that high resolution, you got 60 frames per second, no problems at all, right? So it was gorgeous that way. When my time playing was up, the guy came in to unhook me and stuff, and I wouldn't stop playing. I kept playing. I'm like, you're going to have to pull me off of here to get me out of here.
You're going to have to physically shut this machine down before.
Pretty much.
And it's funny because we both came out of the booth, and I think the first thing we both said to each other was, that sound!
Yeah.
Right? So, now I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that obviously Forza looks amazing. That dynamic weather though, with dynamic puddling of the rain is really, really cool. Mm-hmm. I actually had to, similar to you, I had to stop for a second just to look at how great it looked, because I mean, it's a racing game, you go fast, you're trying not to crash, but I mean, I think I probably had an easier time to stop and smell the roses than you did with that level of Gears. So, but yeah, really, really cool, very fun event. And then at the end, I guess they analyzed that data.
Yep.
And gave us some cool stuff to go along with it.
Yeah, so they sort of analyze it and tell you how excited you were by playing the game, and my vitals I think spiked a lot higher than yours did. Yeah. I think that's the nature of the game.
Well, I'm like a Zen master when I'm racing, right? Like, I mean, I'm not...
Yeah, you're actually calm racing. I was not. I was pumped up. I've got enemies coming at me all different sides, and I couldn't remember fully the controls. I was really into it, and apparently my vitals showed that.
Yeah.
And then one really cool thing they did afterwards was we got a little keepsake to take with us, which I have mine here. So this is, let's get that on there so you can see it. This is a painting that they did, and they did one of these for everybody. So he's got my gamer tag on there, and I think the lines here were customized based on your results, because our two paintings look slightly different.
Yeah. So it's like brainwave, breaths per second, your heart rate and your temperature, something like that.
Yeah. So, but that was really cool to customized painting that they did while we waited. While we were there. Yeah. We actually had to wait for them to finish.
We sucked back Doritos and air.
That was kind of cool. And then we also got, and you probably can't see that very well, but it's a USB key that had the video footage on it of us playing, like a customized video that showed you your results. And the footage was a little dark because the room was very dark.
Yeah,
it's not really exciting, but it was kind of cool to get that personalized sort of custom video, and it told me that my excitement level was equivalent to riding a roller coaster.
Ah, there you go. Mine was the equivalent of paragliding. I'm not sure.
All right. Except for me, I hate roller coasters, so it's probably accurate. If I was on a roller coaster, I would probably be more terrified than I was shooting aliens. But
there you go.
That was that. So overall, a great event.
Really great event. Kudos to Microsoft, because again, when you hear, when you're entering the contest, you see so few winners on it. Or a few slots open, and the fact that it was a one-day only thing, they really could have cheaped out. And I was pleasantly surprised with the production value of the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a really unique experience and something we won't easily forget. Yeah. So thank you to Microsoft for making that happen. We really appreciate it. I must admit, though. I noticed most gaming outlets have received their review units for their Xbox One X's. We didn't get ours yet, Microsoft. So you might want to look into that. So okay, thanks. Appreciate that. So this week was really big for new releases. There were 3 AAA new release titles this past Friday, October 27th. A massive day for gamers, and all 3 games IGN reviewed them at a 9 or higher.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of them got a 10. So one of the games was Wolfenstein 2.
Yep.
Which we have not had a chance to try or play
not yet.
Again, reviews been really good on it. As we talked last week about the single player focused campaign games, and this is purely a single player game.
Yeah.
Very much story driven, first person shooter. Looks great. I can't wait to try it, but we haven't had a chance to yet.
Yeah, they even said they didn't want to take away from the narrative by adding multiplayer or anything like that. They solely wanted to focus on the single player, and like you said, reviews have been favorable across the board. Multiple sites really liking it.
Yep. And then the second game that was released was Assassin's Creed Origins, which, Matt, you've had a chance to play.
I have. So I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins for the last couple of days, and I mean, overall, cut right to the chase. I love it. It's awesome. Now I skipped maybe even the last 2. The last one I played, I think, was Unity. Assassin's Creed Unity. Kind of got burnt out on the whole thing, and Origins is phenomenal. It keeps enough of the core Assassin's Creed gameplay, but changes things up very nicely. So I mean, it's set in Egypt, and it's basically the story of the very first assassin. It's the creation of the Brotherhood, which is really cool. So it starts out with the prologue with you being in Egypt, and it kind of puts the Animus future stuff to the side to start with, just to get you into the game. It does. I have come across it, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's taken an interesting turn.
Okay.
So you will play as somebody else in the future. Who gets into the Animus and plays the memories of this character. But it's not shoved down your throat at this point anyways. I'm 10 hours, 12 hours in. Now the thing with being 10, 12 hours in, I am nowhere. I am absolutely nowhere. The map is massive. It is huge. There is so much to do. I have never been this sidetracked in a game where you're like, okay, I'm going to go from point A to point B, and there's 9 things in front of me or to the side of me that I get sidetracked, like a attention span of a small budgie. It's ridiculous. Right? Because in this one, there's no mini map. They've really cleared up the HUD, which I love.
Okay.
So what it is a little bar going across the top, almost like a compass. And once you get somewhat close to something, you'll see a question mark, and it'll tell you how far away it is. So if you want to know what's over there, you've got to go there, which I thought was really, really cool. So like I said, you can trying to get to a town, and I didn't get there last night. I played for 3 hours and did not get to my destination. So it's pretty wild. Obviously, I mean, a lot of people talked about the graphics. It is beautiful. Just super crisp. I cannot wait to see it on the Xbox One X.
Yep.
But I will say that even the draw distance, I know some people were talking about that, and I know the team at Ubisoft were kind of bragging about that, and I did notice almost as soon as I got into the game, I saw like some smoke off in the back, and I thought, oh, it's just a poorly drawn cloud or something like that. But I got closer and closer, and sure enough, it was an actual smokestack, and I was like, wow, that was like 3 provinces back. So I mean, wow. Another thing I noticed was again, you have the the synchronization when you climb to the very top of a building or something like that, and you synchronize, and it does the pan around. Yeah. And it pans it around, and I see the pyramids that I haven't gotten to yet. Again, 2-3 provinces over, and you can just barely make them out. The draw distance is phenomenal. I mean, they're really pushing the Xbox or and the PlayStation and the PC to its limits graphically. I was blown away. Really, I was.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm waiting for my Xbox One X to play that one. I'm going to go in cold in full 4K. Yeah. So that'll be. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, the reviews on this game have been really, really positive. Seems like a real high point for the franchise. Some of the more recent Assassin's Creeds haven't fared quite so well. I mean, we've talked before about how much we love Black Flag, and Origins is done by the same team. Yeah. In fact, I even read that there's even some naval combat in this one.
There is
Black Flag style. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Only with I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to, again, no spoilers. Yeah. I as many people who can go into it fresh and play it, I highly recommend you do that. It was, so far, it's been a really fun experience. Love the combat, the revamped combat, with, hitboxes instead of the old school, almost like the Batman series of fighting, of combat. This one with hitboxes and also, again, with loot. Damage numbers. You hit somebody in the head with an arrow, and a little damage number comes up. It's so satisfying. I love it.
Yeah, they've gone real RPG with it. Right?
Yeah, and those elements are really, really good. There's a little bit of crafting. You can break down some materials and your old weapons and things like that. But you can also upgrade existing weapons. So if you found something that you really like, one of the legendary weapons that gives you a cool little bonus, such as extra crit hit, or with some of the bows and arrows that will give you extra XP on headshots, or bleed damage, things like that. If you really like that, yet you've gone up in level and you want to take that weapon with you, you can go to a blacksmith and upgrade them. So
okay, cool.
And the last thing I want to mention is the variety of weapons in it is really cool as well. You have these, for melee, you have close quarters, fast swords, and you have spears, you have maces, axes, and you get bigger and bigger weapons that obviously are a little slower and plottier, right? But I've noticed that even with a single sword, which is in the same category as the dual swords, play completely differently, even though it's in the same category, which I really liked. And the other thing I liked with the bows and arrows, you have warrior bows, you have predator bows. So I have a bow and arrow right now that automatically will shoot 4 or 5 arrows in one draw. Okay. Right? And when you aim back, you pull back to aim, you see a little circle, kind of like what you would be used to. But I also have a predator bow, which takes a different type of ammo. And when I pull back on that, it kind of zooms into the very tip, almost like an ADS, right down the sight. So I see a little arrow in a circle, and I fire that way. So the bows play differently for different situations, and I'm really digging it. I want to be at home playing it right now.
Sounds. I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, it's great.
So in addition, the third big title that was released this week was Super Mario Odyssey for Switch.
Okie dokie, let's go.
So I've been playing that when I can get time in. It's actually taken over my entire family. Everyone is playing through it, which actually means I have to fight for time even to play my Xbox right now.
You're bigger than the kids. You could probably,
I can take them.
Yeah, I think
so. Super Mario Odyssey is a return to the sort of open world style sandbox Mario game. First the first game like that was Super Mario 64, which is one of my personal top games ever.
Yeah.
And it's been a few years since this style of Mario game. I think Mario Galaxy was the last one that was that style. And man, this game, it's just so much fun. It's just delightfully joyful is the way I can describe it. Nintendo just knows how to do level design and knows how to do a Mario game, right? So the premise is, of course, you're Mario, you're rescuing Princess Peach from Bowser, and you have to go through these different kingdoms and collect moons to power your ship to keep going. Similar to Mario 64, where you're collecting stars.
Right.
That's sort of the thing you're trying to do. But you go through each kingdom, and it's like a bunch of miniature puzzles to try and find these things in the world. There's boss fights and standard Mario hit the thing on the head 3 times boss fight type stuff. But graphically, it's so charming and so cute. And you have the cap mechanic, Cappy, who you can use to you actually use it as a weapon to hit enemies and also to take control of enemies, which then leads to all kinds of different mechanics to get to different areas of the map. So you'll have something simple like there'll be some very high platforms that you can't jump to, but there'll be an enemy close by that can stretch really tall, so you take control of that enemy and then you can stretch up and get to those high areas.
That possession thing looks so much fun.
And again, Nintendo knows how to take a basic mechanic and introduce you to it, and then start building on it and doing really extra cool stuff with it as you go. The other thing they've integrated is sections where the game goes 2D and looks like the old Mario Brothers games. And that is so awesome as well, and the way that they have integrated that into the world. There was one section where I had to get up a tower, and rather than climbing up or what have you, you actually go into a pipe and you go from 3D into 2D, and then you're playing a 2D Mario level wrapped around the side of the tower. So as you're going around and climbing up and getting up to the top of the tower that way. And it's just every time you hop out of the 2D world and pop back to 3D, it makes me smile. It's just such an awesome mechanic. I've been smiling almost the entire time I've been playing the game.
Well, that's a good sign.
It's not a really, really tough or challenging game, but it's just so much fun to play. The discovery, the sense of discovery and an adventure is just awesome. This is going to be one of the highest rated games of the year for sure.
I was going to ask, do you agree with the very strong ratings that it's been getting?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I saw one interesting article that said that essentially Nintendo is fighting with itself for the best game of the year, because Zelda Breath of the Wild was another one that was a fantastic game, also by Nintendo. And so they've, Nintendo doesn't produce a lot of games, but what they do is just such a high quality. And this game, Mario Odyssey, is fantastic. Highly recommended to anyone who's a Mario fan in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, this one will sell systems, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you don't have a Switch, this is a reason to go get one. That's all we have for this week. Please do leave a comment on this video. Tell us what you liked or didn't like. And also send us your questions. Something about the podcast or anything gaming related. We'll answer your questions on a future podcast. You can email the questions to podcast@silentmajoritygamers.com, or you can just leave them in the comments below this video.
And don't forget to check out our other playlists. We've added another unboxing video of Assassin's Creed, and be sure to keep your eyes peeled for some future unboxing videos that are coming up shortly.
Yep, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the video, hit that like button, tell all your friends. You can also follow us on Twitter @SilentMGamers, or check out our new Facebook page, and I'll put the link to that in the comments. And that's it for me, Limey Geek.
I'm Insomniac Matt.
And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye. There's no cups. It's a glass. It's not even a cup. Did you play Cuphead this week?
No.
You know, I don't get to tell you to shut up very often.
No, it felt good, didn't it?
It felt good. And that's an outtake.
That's a good for credit. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.